lot of time having a conversation with myself and didn't realize I wasn't recording as the minutes were not strolling. But in 2021, this conversation is about you. Who are you in 2021? As we are all taxpayers, let's not pretend that African Americans just don't provide support for the people who look like them, because, Beyonce could tell you a different story because she pays that level of taxes. Just like Lauryn Hill, when she had to pay that $2.3 million. I'm sorry. As an American citizen, I understand the investment and the required investments. But when they're manipulating the funds and supplanting the dollars, and perhaps the money is not going to where it was generated from, it concerns me, as I'm not allowed to participate in the conversation as an ordinary citizen. And part of citizenship is being a part of the conversation about the dollars that come back to the local community who affect people who look like you. But when you can't be a part of the conversation, I'm wondering what the hell's going on in 2021 when we all witnessed the insurrection at the Capitol. And perhaps it's not where you would have been, but there were so many Americans that were there, and it was televised. And it was televised how the young woman was shot, dead. Former military. Former what? Military. Fearing. We all need to fear. No, we don't need to fear. We need to stand up, because life demands change every day. Change is before us. And do we have the ability, or I don't even think there's integrity enough to change, because access is everything. But if you're not reading and writing and have basic skills before you leave high school, well, the rest of the journey is just going to be difficult. But understand this. The word is e pluribus unum. Out of many, there's one, but out of one, there'll be none. So who will you be in 2021? And the real deal is we all pay. And when I see Diana Ross or any black celebrity performing on the Strip, understand this is the entertainment capital of the world. But there's no Moulin Rouge Club here and no more Cotton Club. But the history, just the mere history of all that was happening. And then the burning of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then what happened in Philadelphia in the 70s. How they burned those people out because they had dreads, and that wasn't efficient or clean living, right? Who are you to judge? In America, where we all have the right to freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of whatever, as we bring people from foreign countries and allow them to go through a process of establishing citizenship that entitles them to a voice. But when you're born here and your hue is dark like mine, perhaps nobody wants to hear you, and I really don't care, because their salaries are being paid by the American tax dollars. That means we all have a voice, and we need to utilize it, because failure has just never been free. But the harbor concerns me, because they take children with disabilities in 504 accommodations. But how does that affect their education? Please, somebody break it down, because I can't see the data in regards to the children who have been ran through the harbor. And I do mean run, or ran through the harbor. Because the real deal is, if you don't graduate with a proficiency level of at least 8th grade, there is no place for you as you continue to make mistakes on the employment spectrum or journey that you're on, and you keep on getting fired. How many times can a person be laid off? Real deal. They don't like people who speak out and speak their mind either. So the ability for those to organize around policies that affect you within a state demonstrate that racism perhaps is alive and well, because black people that are elected don't advocate for African American rights. But let's all understand there is the Black Caucus in the White House. They have a black organization targeting, but never have we even discussed the lack of maintenance or outcomes that came with the investment of the, Civil Rights Act of 1964. We don't talk about the 13th, 14th, and the 15th Amendment, as this is a part of history which enables us to speak who we are. So just be who you be. Make sure you're doing yourself. Make sure that you're using your knowledge that was provided to you through trials and tribulations, and make sure that you have faith. Because if you have faith, understand what's going to come through this. And on the other side, it looks much brighter. So here I am, sitting in Henderson, Nevada, understanding that as a citizen, my rights are being oppressed. Freedom of speech is real. I'm not going to talk to you about the luscious things that go on around in the world. I'm really not concerned. I am concerned, however, that there would be an 8-year-old who would commit suicide and choose death over life as they were being bullied. I believe that bully prevention is a federal statute. So how did your local state or city even determine the services around that? And then understand, a lot of people just create more problems. Why not put the dual gender bathrooms on the school sites, or dual gender locker rooms, and separate that by what they were born as that mentality exists? The real deal is, I just don't understand where we are in 2021. Certainly we are not working together to save one another, as certain people are just the harvest. And anytime a state can write a policy that impedes your ability to engage in the federal process of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, well, if a state provides those policies and they are oppressive, then the state is in the wrong, and they just need to change behavior. I don't see how I see certain legislation that wrote they could do the task up until they ran out of money. No, boo, it don't work like that. It's a joke. And I think the state intervention here is criminal. But who am I to say? But what I am going to tell you is that in America, if you have a child with a disability or who has been perceived as having a disability, as a parent, is your responsibility to get a true assessment, a true evaluation of the child's abilities, so that you can participate at the level of engagement when it comes to negotiating for services. And you shouldn't be signing paperwork that pulls your child out of the public school system and puts them in a program where they will not gain skills to sustain their livelihood. And I'm sorry, pimping ain't easy, but goddamn, these people have made it straight up. Because in Nevada, prostitution is legal, gambling is legal. I mean, everything about what happens here doesn't stay here. Because the people who are born here, who have limited skills, limited access, because I know that's true, because I looked at the data. What they actually do provide is frightening. 259% of willful defiance issues within the African American community, a disproportionate amount of suspension expulsions based on any other subgroup, 49% of the population in the foster care system look like me. There's another statistic out there. But you need to understand that we don't pay as Americans for failure. And the opportunity gaps just exist. So who will you be in 2021? The word is, we have to be heard. E pluribus unum. Out of many there's one, but out of one there'll be none. So who will you be in 2021? Please like, subscribe, follow me. I'm on Anchor, I'm on YouTube. But educate yourself before it's too late.